6で迎えた8回無視、ロバートソンの2球目を捉えると、打球はライト席の上段へ突き刺さりました。打球速度 113.4 マイル、約 182.5 キロ、飛距離430フィート、約131メートル、角度37度という豪快な一発に、本拠地は大歓声に包まれました。大谷はこの日、先発投手としても登板し、5回まで強力打線を無安打無失点に抑える圧巻の投球を披露しました。地元放送局、スポーツネットロサンゼルスの実況ジョー・デイビス氏は、マウンドで5回をノーヒット、そして、空高く本塁打を放った。彼のような選手はいない。と絶叫しました。解説を務めた元米ソフトボール代表でアテネ五輪金メダリストのジェシカ・メンドーサ氏も、ジョー、あの球は制球されたボールですよ。内角高めのボール球なのに、バットスピードがすごすぎる。と驚きを隠せませんでした。しかし試合はその後、救援陣が6回に一挙6失点を喫して逆転され、敗戦となりました。試合後の現地放送では絶望感が漂う中、大谷翔平の信じられない活躍を称賛しつつ、チームの現状に嘆く声が相次ぎました。また、試合後には、この日大谷から継投して逆転を許したジャスティン・ロブレスキー、ブレイク・トライネン両投手、ロバーツ監督をはじめ、フィリーズのブランドン・マーシュ、カイル・シュワーバーら、大谷と縁のある選手や関係者が次々と大谷の活躍に脱帽するコメントを寄せました。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
His season last year was historic, so it was almost natural that it would come down this year. Does the difference in the offense, do you see it directly correlate to taking on the pitching again?
Well, I think that, if you can go back to February or March, we talked about he was going to have less stolen bases because of just trying to manage the legs, and we've seen that. But in totality, this is a better year. When you bake in the less stolen bases, but you're taking on the pitching, and he's still close to 50 homers. So I think in totality, it's a better season. It's not new, but the drop off. I don't know his OPS, but just where he's at right now and where I expect him to finish off, I don't think there has been a drop off at all. To be quite frank, yeah.
Last year with Shohei Ohtani, when we look at just the results, of course, he wanted that 50-50 season. He was able to achieve that. But his approach this year, as much as maybe the power or even the stolen bases, that necessarily wasn't as much of a focus. He did make a few changes, especially when it came to that two-strike approach. Like Dave Roberts was saying earlier today, the stuff he's been seeing from him, it's been consistent, it's been excellent. So for him, he is going to have double duty tonight. Of course, as the pitcher, the hope is for him to get through 5 innings of work. And I know we'll talk about it in a bit, but the hope is that this is a good test for him as he prepares for a postseason run, when he's not only just a hitter as the DH, but also as a two-way player on the mound as a pitcher as well, guys. Hi, John. Yeah, so for Shohei Ohtani, his last start was about 10 days ago in Baltimore, in which he stepped in for Tyler Glasnow, who was battling some back tightness. And even in that start, he had been pushed back because he was under the weather. He said after that game that he had felt pretty good. The stuff was playing well. The results were excellent. But it was a shorter outing due to him stepping in at the last minute and coming off of being sick. Dave Roberts today, he talked about what he's expecting from him today in this one against the Phillies.
I think the last time he threw was in Baltimore. So he's got some rest under him. I think he feels good. I know he feels good. And it's going to be a good challenge for him. And, he seems to always, rise to the occasion. But it's going to be another playoff environment tonight. So it's going to be fun. So the plan is for him to get through 5 innings, and then we'll see where we're at after that. What I've learned about Shohei as a pitcher is, he's always very critical of himself. So that kind of rings true as well as a pitcher as far as expecting excellence. I think he has such a good way to manipulate the baseball, making the ball go right to left, making the ball go north-south, incorporating the two-seamer, the four-seamer. So his feel for the baseball is pretty remarkable.
When you look at how just the postseason is set up at the moment for the Dodgers, they could be seeing the Phillies in the NLDS. And with Shohei Ohtani, as much as last year was his first time experiencing the postseason, he only experienced it as a hitter. This year will be the first time him experiencing it as a pitcher. And Andrew Friedman, when he was briefly talking to the media yesterday, he was saying, when you look at how intense the postseason is, what that does to the body, it will be interesting seeing how Shohei Ohtani does handle it. So for him today, going up against a very talented Phillies lineup, as much as the plan for him is only to get through 5 innings of work, today, like Dave Roberts was saying, is going to in fact be a very good test for him, because again, it will be his first time pitching in the postseason, even though he has, of course, had big moments, including in the World Baseball Classic, guys.
And you can tell how much fun he was having last year being in the postseason for the very first time. Kirsten, thank you very much. And he's hoping he gets a chance to pitch once again this year, Jerry, for the first time in the playoffs. And this lineup he's facing tonight, the Phillies have, that'll be very much like a lineup you could see in October.
A really good lineup, and a lineup that it's a veteran lineup that knows how to make adjustments. And Kirsten mentioned he'll probably go only 5 innings, so he's going to see the top of the order a couple times. Looking at Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, those are 2 guys that will look for pitches. Now, maybe sit on pitching at times, so you should know pretty quickly what their approach is at the time. Making sure, and it's so important, we say it all the time, to get ahead. And don't be afraid to use that breaking ball early in that first inning and let them know, hey, I'm willing to throw that breaking ball. Really, any pitch at any time, but he's got to be able to establish a strike zone and get strike 1 so he can feature all his pitches.
Great lineup, but he's faced great lineups before over the course of his career.
Yep.
So that I'm not worried about. The other thing I'm not worried about is the postseason. It's Shohei Ohtani. He rises to the occasion, so I'm really not worried about that. So no matter what kind of lineup or who he faces in the postseason, if he happens to pitch in the postseason, that's not my concern. I think right now my concern more is just the fact that he's had the layoff. We've seen him, just the way they've kind of built him up over the course of this season. But to see how sharp he is today, to see how his rhythm is, to see how he feels on the mound, and see how confident he is in his mechanics. That's really more what I am looking at, because I'm looking at, if we are going to see him in the postseason pitch, how much time does he have in case there's a little bit of rust, which would be understandable. Yeah. If going, okay, had to get himself ready so he can feel confident going into the postseason with his mechanics, his sharpness, and everything to go out there and take on the lineup.
Shohei Ohtani last took the mound for the Dodgers on September 5th. And that was a spot start in Baltimore. He just went 3 2/3 filling in for Tyler Glasnow. That was 11 days ago, Nomar, and he was battling a cold himself as well during that stretch. So he's only pitched 1 time in the last 20 days. Do you have any concerns about how sharp he might be as he takes the mound tonight?
Well, first and foremost, when it comes to Shohei Ohtani, it would not surprise me if he shows no signs of rust. I mean, it's the big show. Yeah. This guy is unbelievable, and he's doing things that make us, marvel day after day, each and every time he's out there. But at the same time, it would be understandable if he is rusty, if he is a little bit off in the mechanics, or he's trying to find those, if his pitches aren't as sharp. So it would be understandable. We talked about that question earlier, or asked a question about him in the postseason and role, and I said, right now I'm worried about, is there enough runway here to make sure that he's sharp so he can feel confident going into the postseason. So that's really what I'm looking at today. Is that sharpness there? Is he fighting his mechanics? Is he nice and fluid and ready to go? If he is, like I said, would not surprise me.
There's so many great players in this game today, especially at Dodger Stadium tonight. Got so many Hall of Famers. Bryce Harper. I think Kyle Schwarber will be a Hall of Famer as well. Shohei Ohtani has a chance to go 1, 2, 3 and then lead off the first inning with a home run. Think about that for a second. That's how incredible athlete he has been and is. So it wouldn't surprise me if he goes out there and absolutely deals. Now, obviously, we talked about it earlier. This is a very impressive Phillies lineup. But when Shohei Ohtani is on, he'll run up that fastball 100, 101 and have a devastating breaking ball as well. So he could be tough to deal with for the hitters.
Well,
you heard the man. They are going for it. Here's Rob Thompson's lineup that'll face Dodgers right-hander Shohei Ohtani tonight. Keith, your thoughts here on the lineup? A pretty same lineup.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. I mean, when you think about Ohtani, okay, right-handed pitcher, you're going to stack lefties. You don't really have to do that. I mean, right-handers are hitting 306 off them, so it's not like a case of you have to stack certain guys. I mean, the only one really getting a day off is JT Realmuto. I don't know. Maybe JT had a good time last night. I don't know.
As he should.
Yeah, have a great time. I mean, that's the situation. You put a backup in there, and you kind of run on from there. I think this is a lineup that you almost kind of expect. As a matter of fact, I think I expected a little bit maybe different lineup. I mean, it's just one of those things where I would give a lot of guys a rest today. Obviously, you're not going to give Schwarber a rest. Harper's going to want to play, but there's guys in there that you can give some rest to.
Yes, he is. In a big matchup tonight, as Shohei Ohtani had a double and 2 walks last night. He has 49 home runs this season. He's the favorite to win his 4th career MVP award. And tonight, he's going to pitch. This will be his first career start against the Phillies. Wow, to think about that. Ricky, how excited are you to watch this guy pitch here tonight?
I don't know about excited. I think it's one of those things you try to run him out of there as quickly as you can. He's trying to work up a pitch count. He only threw, I believe, 70 pitches in his last start. I think there is a beneficial part to this. He doesn't hit very well when he's pitching. I mean, he's got 12, I believe it's 12 starts this year. Does have 11 RBIs when he swings the bat at that point. But the other thing is he's only hitting 217, so 10 for 46, so that's good. But, I mean, when you look at him, I think the one thing you want to do is make him come over to plate early on in the count, and I think you could attack him early on in the count because he's got 7 different pitches. You don't really want to be in the 0-2, 1-2 counts with him.
All right, Ben, what are you expecting from this first pitch appearance here for Shohei Ohtani against the Phils?
Well, I think you're going to see the Phillies be a little bit aggressive against this guy. Obviously, the 4-seamer, he throws it sits at 98 miles an hour. He probably will touch 100 a few times tonight. But I think it's when Ricky pointed out that to me before the game about the splits, 306 righties, and lefties are hitting only 167 against this guy. I would have thought it'd been the complete opposite. So if I'm a righty in this lineup, I'm going to make him beat me in. I'm going to be diving out over that plate because he just doesn't like to throw righties in a whole lot. So I'd be diving out over that plate looking for something I can drive to right center.
The top 2 home run hitters in the National League go head-to-head right here. Shohei Ohtani to face Kyle Schwarber.
I mean, just how crazy is that? The fact that, yes, head-to-head, but Ohtani has it in his hands to be able to control the bat of Kyle Schwarber and then pick up the bat in the bottom half of the first. Catch this dude in the National League for the home run title.
Schwarber grounds the first pitch foul. Ohtani turns it up to 102 for his competition in the home run race.
He topped out Bader 98 miles an hour. How about 4 more miles per hour? He recognizes exactly.
On a 2-1 from Ohtani. Swings and misses. That was the slider, which has been his best swing and miss pitch.
It's also been the pitch that Kyle Schwarber crushes. Pitch he hit for a home run last night. This is a different slider, though. Backs up a little bit outside corner.
2-2. Strikes him out. Popped out of his hand, but caught the zone, and Schwarber watches it. Strike 3.
How about 2 completely different pitches, yet they're both the slider? I mean, the manipulation that Shohei Ohtani had on the slider before away. Look at where this pitch is located for strike 2. Same pitch, now he goes up and in, 89, and it holds him. Being able to use that slider in a multitude of ways to get the strikeout.
Fastball gets him looking. He said this year, though, extra special for Shohei because this is his thing. This is what he's always loved most is the pitch. And going to realize a dream this year, pitch in the postseason for the first time. Now, as amazing as last year was for Ohtani, it's hard to argue anything other than that this year is better. The OPS is pretty much the same. You've traded out the stolen bases. You've added in the really good starting pitching. That's a trade that you're going to be willing to make. And yeah, you had the 50-50 history to it, but when you put this all together, this is it's a notch up even from what it was last year. On his way to a 4th MVP in 5 seasons. And you begin to look at it in a 5-year block, and there are some remarkable 5-year runs throughout baseball history. It's unmatched because you look at it from a pitching side. You've got Sandy Koufax, what he did in the 1960s, 5 consecutive ERA titles, 4 Cy Youngs in there. Pedro Martinez, peak Pedro, had a 2 ERA over a 5-year stretch. It was 80-20 over those 5 years. Amazing. You can't compare it as far as the pitching goes, those 2 5-year stretches. From an offensive standpoint, you have Barry Bonds. His 5-year stretch to start this century won 4 MVPs. But to do both, there is no comp. It's the greatest 5-year stretch in baseball history.
He hasn't even done it in the postseason yet. I mean, that's where I get excited.
Now, we mentioned it earlier, but yeah, the dream was to play in the postseason. He got to do that last year, but if you really pressed him, the dream is to pitch in the postseason. So he's going to get to live the specific dream for the first time this year.
We had fun talking about this, too, just last night with how the Dodgers are going to utilize their bullpen and thinking about, well, Shohei, could he be used? But then it's like, well, he's got to hit. And the Shohei Ohtani rule allows him to start and then stay in a game. Andrew Friedman's talked about, well, the rules got to change. We got to be at least in the postseason be able to use a player, the only player, Shohei Ohtani, if we wanted him to come into a game out of the bullpen. The way the rule stands right now, he'd have to come out as a hitter. So you get excited about maybe a moment of him as a closer in a huge game, which is always open for possibility. But the point is we've never seen anything like it, and we've never seen it in October. Less than 2 weeks. That's what we're going to see.
Shohei Ohtani has made it look easy tonight. No hits over 4 scoreless innings, just 1 base runner against him. He has struck out 4 in this game. Let's go down to Kirsten.
Thanks, Joe. Well, when it comes to Shohei Ohtani and his pitching plan, Dave Roberts has been very adamant that the focus has been hitting him through 5 innings of work. But when you look at his pitch count tonight, only at 56 pitches. The most he has thrown this year is 87 pitches. That was on August 27th against the Reds. And recently, when Dave Roberts was asked just about the starting rotation when it comes to the postseason, how they're going to push the rotation, the starters, he did say that he wants to see his starters getting deep into the game, whether it's that 6 innings of work. Come October, obviously the expectations are a little bit different. But with Shohei, the big question tonight will be, will they push him past 5, considering where his pitch count is at? Dave Roberts and Mark Pryor, we're having a conversation, so we'll see what happens in this one tonight, guys.
Forget the pitch count. We're talking about history here. Let's go, which is becoming routine. How about this? This is the 4th time in the last 10 games that the Dodgers starter has gone into the 5th having not given up a hit.
It's incredible, especially the run when the Dodgers have needed it. And it could not be at a better time, too. Talking to Andrew Friedman even before the game about just every year it's a different plan, different idea. I mean, last year was almost last man standing. Who's not injured? Hey, can you go in and pitch? And the way the starting rotation looks right now, you've got options that can now go to the bullpen. That has definitely been the highlight the last month of the season.
Maybe even more remarkable than the fact that 4 of the last 10 games have gone into the 5th having not given up a hit. 9 of the last 10. 0 or 1 hit going into the 5th. Only 1 time in the last 10 games have they given up more than 1 hit over the first 4 innings.
It's dominance, and it's from the get-go. And we've seen length because of it. We've seen pitchers go longer than they would normally go. And right now, there's a decision to be made. Dave Roberts, just what Kirsten was talking about, not just because of the amount of pitches, but the zeros on the board right now.
Might have 9 different pitches, but it boils down to that. Can you place your fastball? And everything else is played off it.
He's been unpredictable even with his fastball. I mean, look at the location of where he's thrown it. He has to be able to command it, but it's at the knees, it's up and in. It's every single spot of the quadrant within the strike zone.
Driven the other way, Tasker Hernandez is over, and Shohei Ohtani has fired 5 no-hit innings against the Phillies. Kirsten?
Yeah, Joe, in between innings, Dave Roberts went up to Shohei Ohtani as he was getting his batting gear on. And he said, how do you feel? You know, you want to get back out there? And it was funny because Shohei then was like, no, it's up to you. And he goes, okay, but do you feel good? He said, I do. But ultimately, it does sound like they are going to be going to the bullpen. Justin Robleski did get up and is now warming up. And even Freddie Freeman and Dave, they were laughing and having a conversation. And Freddie was teasing him, was like, ooh, I know you look stressed out over there with that decision. But ultimately, getting Shohei through 5 was the most important thing, guys.
Well, here's the thing. He's not going to go 9, right? So even though he's got a no-hitter going, 9 is not going to happen. So if 6 wasn't an important box to check, he's happy with the work that he's gotten in here, then mission accomplished.
Well, I think he was looking for Shohei. If he was like adamant, like, no, like, I got the good stuff tonight, Doc. Like, keep me in this game. But then it even gets a harder decision as the game progresses.
Ohtani to lead off the 8th. And David Robertson, who was able to close it down last night, is on to pitch.
17 years in the bigs. A huge night for him last night. He talked about, you mentioned, sitting on his couch just a few months ago. He said he was actually a taxi cab, helping out at the school, making lunches for his kids. And just realized, you know what, I've got more to give.
High fly ball to deep right field. 5 no-hit innings on the mound. And a skyscraping home run. There's nobody like him. Never has been. Doubtful there ever will be. It is his 50th of the year. Back-to-back 50 home run seasons to begin his time with the Dodgers. And he's got him within 1 here in the 8th.
Oh, that pitch was located. Joe, I mean, it was up and in off the plate, the bat speed. Just aggressive swing that you see Shohei, but look at the bend that he can get with his body to get to a ball. Cutting into his hands and then sky high. See the apex on this thing. Just sit back, Shohei, and watch this beauty. Home run number 50. Shohei Ohtani getting them on their feet through 5 innings. No hit ball. Got real quiet the last few, and then that monster blast. This crowd is amped.
Ohtani smokes one. It's a one-run game. That is a towering home run. It's number 50. Back-to-back 50 home run seasons for Ohtani. And it's a 6-5 game. That's why the Kepler home run was so big.
Yeah, well, this Dodger team is not going to roll over. I mean, they got some firepower of their own. David Robertson tries to throw that cutter in on Ohtani, but you don't get it in. He gets his hands to it, and he absolutely tattooed this ball.
Ohtani, the 11th player in Major League Baseball history with multiple 50 home run seasons.
He's quite a talent. He's pretty special, obviously, with the way he started off this game, no-hitting the Phillies through 5. He's an impressive athlete, boy.
Another frustrating loss for the Dodgers tonight. They dropped the first 2 of this big series against the Phillies, had a 4-0 lead in this game against the guy who's second in the National League in ERA, Christopher Sanchez. Shohei Ohtani's absolutely dealing 5 no-hit innings. Shohei even hit his 50th home run of the season, Jerry. But the story once again for the Dodgers is the bullpen. They got touched up for 6 runs in the 6th inning, and then a 3-run homer by a light-hitting catcher in the 9th spot there in the 9th to win it.
Yeah, it's almost like a football game, a tale of 2 halves. The first 5 innings of the ball game, the first half dominated by the Dodgers, led by Shohei Ohtani, 5 no-hit innings. In the second half, the Phillies really started to swing the bat, and they put it on the Dodgers. 9 runs against that bullpen. Unfortunate.
You're looking for adjectives. It's a tough one to watch. It's frustrating. It's hard to believe, especially when you get such a performance by Shohei Ohtani. He goes 5 innings, not allowing a hit, and then your offense manages against one of the top pitchers in the National League, in Christopher Sanchez, and you get 4 runs early, and you still you're unable to pull off this game. It's one where you're just extremely frustrated. You know, you hand it over the bullpen. Listen, you're going to have some days that are just tough, but when you're seeing it time and time again, you're looking, okay, who are you going to go out there to get those outs? And even just maybe if you have one guy who struggles, but the next guy come in to keep it close, that way the offense can try to get back to the game, and they did, and yet you still can't find the answer to really hold it. This one's just one of those ones. It's just tough. It's just tough. It's you know, you're getting down to the stretch here at the end of the season, and you're like, okay, who are you going to count on in order to get those key outs?
Yeah, and you mentioned it being tough. The Padres lost tonight, so the Dodgers had a golden opportunity to take a 3-game lead in the NL West. And Nomar said this is happening time and time again. Joe Davis had that crazy stat right there in the 9th inning where he said this is the 5th time this year the Dodgers bullpen has allowed 9 runs in a game. We heard boos a couple of times tonight, which you rarely hear at Dodger Stadium.
And I can understand the boos. And as a player, when you know you're giving it up and you have a game like this where it seems like you're relatively in hand and all of a sudden it gets away from you and you're walking off and you hear the boos, you understand it. Because trust me, as a player, you're booing yourself just as loud, if not louder, inside your head as you're coming off. So you would definitely understand it. And those frustrations are valid. And I think for Dodger fans, we're watching this and time again and seeing it, and you end up getting frustrated. But I'll tell you, when it comes to the bullpen, here we talked about it early on in the season, that when you use your bullpen so much early and you don't allow starters to go maybe that extra inning, or the starters don't go longer and you're waiting for them to get built up, whatever the reason is, and you use your bullpen over and over again. We weren't worried about May, June, April, May. We were worried about now. We were worried about September. We're worried about, are they going to be able to have stuff at the end when you really need it there, when the games, when we're talking about playoff style of baseball. And right now, you don't know who you have and who's available, and it eventually is going to catch up to you.
Nomar, you hit the nail on the head. We talked about it in April and May. We can't continue to run out these guys so much early on the season. It eventually is going to catch up to you. You got to remember this. A lot of these guys in this bullpen threw a lot of innings last year, pitched a lot in the postseason. I mean, tough innings in the postseason and the World Series, and then now are asked to do the very same thing this year. It seems like to me for a couple guys, maybe those long, heavy innings are starting to catch up to them. But make no mistake about it, they made some mistakes tonight, and give the credit to the Philadelphia hitters. They capitalized on those mistakes.
You talk about those guys having all these innings and catching up to them, but then you're also asking young guys to come in and do the job, and they have done it. But how often have we seen the young guys thrown. And this is also new for them. This is new territory. Here we are. You're going back to a big league season, trying to get through an entire big league season in and of itself in the back end. I'll tell you, it is taxing. I mean, we both know our very first early season, your first few seasons, you're going, man, you're exhausted. And hopefully get there.
The first big league season is almost like two.
Right.
Because you get so much thrown your way. And first of all, Robo has been outstanding. Yeah. He really has. He just had a tough night. Really had a hard time executing his pitches tonight. He had 0-2 on a Marsh, I believe, and he made a mistake. You can't make mistakes to these hitters, whether Schwarber, obviously Bryce Harper, and really down the line. He had 0-2, hangs the breaking ball, and Marsh makes a pay. So hopefully it's a learning experience for these young guys, knowing that you got to be able to put guys away and can't make mistakes middle of the plate.
And you guys have talked about this so many times. When you have a starting pitcher who's dominating you, you don't care who else comes in. You're just happy to see anybody come into that game because Nomar, Shohei was that good tonight, and his 5 innings allows no hits, only 1 base runner.
And we understand why you're taking him out. I mean, it's not like you go, Dave Roberts, what are you doing? You guys throwing a no-hitter. How are you taking him out? We know he was going 5, and like no matter what, the way he's building up, what he's dealing with, coming back from Tommy John surgery, you know if he's throwing a perfect game, whatever it is, he's coming out of the game. You know that's the limit, and especially after, he's been, when he was sick, it's been a while since he's pitched. We also said we're not surprised if he's still spot on.
Yes.
We never put anything past him. He doesn't show any rust. He didn't show any rust. He looked great. But you knew he was coming out. There was no question. It wasn't about, extending him longer, 1 or 2 extra, and that's not what it's about because you know how vital he is on the offensive side. You knew he was going 5. Great, he got 5. He looked fantastic. He gave the team, handed over a chance to win. Here it is. We got the lead, did everything right to go out there, and obviously they couldn't put this game away.
Yeah, you're right. He had to come out of the game. Remember, he is our leadoff hitter, and he hasn't pitched in 10 days, so you had to come out after that 5 innings. But you're right, John. He was absolutely down. We talked about Shohei Ohtani. Maybe could he be rusty? This is a great offensive lineup in the Phillies, and he really was masterful for 5 innings. But once again, when as great as Shohei was, outstanding slider, outstanding fastball command, around 100 miles an hour, 5 strikeouts in those 5 innings pitched. But it's almost like you get a mulligan as an offense. Shohei Ohtani is gone now. You press the reset button. I don't care who they're coming out, that bullpen. We're going to attack that guy. It's just unfortunate that we couldn't keep that offense at bay.
Shohei Ohtani, 5 no-hit innings, also home run number 50 on the season for the 2nd straight year. Let's head inside and hear from Ohtani with Kirsten Watson and the media.
Shohei, when you look at your outing tonight, 5 innings of no-hit work, home run, the results on both sides of the ball, just how did you find navigating through their lineup, and how important is this an outing for you as you do prepare to pitch come October?
プラン通り投げれたかなっていうのが印象的だったというか、初めて組んだバッテリーでしたけど、すごいスムーズに、お互いの意図っていうのを理解しながら一人一人抑えれたんじゃないかなっていう印象ですね。
The pitch count was in a really good spot. I know that I saw Dave ask you if you wanted to keep going, how you were feeling. Just with that limitation of getting through 5 innings of work, how challenging is that just for you as a competitor and also moving forward, understanding you are still coming back off of that Tommy John surgery, but also wanting to be out there for your team?
限られた中で、球数も抑えながら、打ち取った打球をしっかりまずアウトに取ってもらったっていうのが一番球数を抑えれた要因かなと思うので、その中で、球数もイニングももちろん伸ばしていけるに越したことはないですし、前回がちょっと特殊な登板だったので、少しステップが、遅れたというかっていうのはあるとは思うんですけど、1イニングも長く1人でも多く投げれるに越したことはないかなと思います。
Did you feel like you could pitch into the 6th? Is that something that you would ideally, come October, want to be in a position where you could pitch beyond 5 innings?
そうですね、もちろん今も言いましたけど、1人でも多く投げたいという気持ちはもちろんありますし、ただ僕がどこで終わるかもそうですし、どこまで行くかっていうのを決めるわけではないので、フロントの判断であったりとか、監督が行ってほしいっていうのであれば行けるように努力しますし、もう下がってほしいっていうのであればそれに従うっていうのが、選手としてはその立場ではあるので、いつでもどんな状況でも投げれる状態っていうのはまず作りたいなと思います。
Do you think in October you'd be able to stretch out beyond 5 innings?
僕に聞かれてもちょっとそうですとは言えないので聞かれ手がちょっと違うのかなと思うんですけど。
Last one, guys. Did you have a conversation with Dave before your at bat in the 5th inning about staying in as a pitcher? Beyond that?
いや、体の状態を聞かれたので、体はいいよっていう、調子もいいですし、体の状態がいいよっていうふうに伝えましたし、変えるかどうかの判断はもう完全に監督に任せているので、体の状態だけを伝えました。
And Jerry, it's Shohei Ohtani with his 50th home run tonight. It gave him 50 home runs, 50 strikeouts as a pitcher in the same season. Nobody in the history of the game had ever done that, so another 50-50 club for the Big Show.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a theme with Shohei Ohtani. Nobody ever doing what he has done. To be able to do that on the mound and also at the plate, he is must-see TV. Another great game for the Big Show, a great accomplishment as well.
Dodgers lose 9-6, the final score, but the Big Show, Shohei Ohtani, his pitching prowess again showed tonight. Nomar, he was brilliant for 5 innings.
Yeah, the question asked before the game, what are we looking for Shohei? What are we concerned about? Is he going to be rusty? We wanted to see if he was going to be able to repeat his mechanics, see if he was going to be in rhythm, and also see if he had the sharpness to his pitches. But we're going to go to the K zone, and all those questions were answered. He was in rhythm. He was consistent with his mechanics, and he had the sharpness to his off-speed pitch. We know he had the four-seamer, so there's life to that going at you at 102. But there's the slider. Just a great location with the slider. Sharpness, late break there, up in the zone, getting the call. Mechanics consistent, rhythm consistent, everything looking exactly the same out of his hand. As a hitter, you're trying to see if there's something I can pick up. Maybe the ball pops out of his hand. Maybe there's a little bit difference in his mechanics. Everything looked the same. Now here he comes again. There's the slider going away. Great location with that slider. And then when you're looking for an off-speed pitch, he just dots a four-seamer on the inner half. Once again, the mechanics, the rhythm, all in sync. Everything looking great. Nothing is off. Said it wouldn't surprise us if he was spot on once again. And now here's another breaking ball where it starts, and the break looking like a strike, breaking off of the play underneath the hand. I mean, that's just a totally different bite now. But the curveball and the slider look exactly the same coming out of his hand. Now they're getting the swing and miss. This is why he was just so dominant. Because in your head, you're thinking 102, and then he throws things like that look exactly alike, and they just dart in different ways.
I mean, what are we looking at? Seriously, this kid, look, I can't believe he called me kid, maybe because I'm an old man. Dominant. He's also our leadoff hitter who just hit 50 home runs. And we've talked about in the past, can he close also? To be in the bullpen, just an incredible athlete.
I know, frustrating night out there. You've been excellent as of late. What do you think either was missing for you, or what do you think allowed for them just to string together some hits on you tonight?
I don't know. I mean, I got behind, a couple times there, but, felt like I filled the zone, which is always what I'm trying to do, and had a couple singles get through and whatever, and then obviously the homer, I think, was the worst pitch of the day. Just left the slider up there when it probably needs to be buried or off the dish because he had just swung at one that was off. Go back and look at it, and, going to face these guys again, so just continue to kind of figure out that chess match with what they're looking for, and kind of, whatever their plan was today obviously worked.
How frustrating has it been just for the group, especially considering how accomplished some of the names are in here and what the production's been recently?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, obviously, you don't want to go out there and, obviously give up these runs and whatever. But I think, to your point, a lot of these guys have been there, done it before. And we all have confidence in each other no matter how it's going. And I think, during times like this, yeah, it sucks. But I think there's a lot to be learned from this, whatever this poor run that we're having, and I think we're going to be better for it in the long run.
Where were you that you were stepped into a no-hitter?
I mean, I don't really look at things like that. My job's to go in there and get outs. Whether it's a no-hitter or not, my goal is always the same, to go out there and get the guy that I'm facing and just take it a hitter at a time, a pitch at a time. And yeah, unfortunately tonight it didn't go my way, but Shohei obviously pitched great, hit great, as always. So
what was it like hearing the crowd's reaction as you came in, and then as your as the inning progressed?
It is what it is. I didn't throw the ball well. I don't think I'm not really always too concerned with what's happening crowd-wise and everything else. My job's to go out there and put up zeros, and I did not do that today. So yeah, it sucks, but it's all. Life's about how you handle adversity, and I've dealt with a lot of that, so I know what I need to do, and I know that, being better is the bottom line, and I know I can do it.
As a group down there collectively in the bullpen, is it more frustrating the way the starters have been going the last few weeks, just how well they've pitched? And is there any discussions about having to, back that up?
I mean, our goal is to go out there and get outs and win games. Obviously, it's frustrating to go out there and not get the job done. But yeah, we just want to go out there and put up zeros. And unfortunately, recently it hasn't been going our way. But it's part of the game.
Dave, coming into this one, we talked a lot about just how this was going to be a good test for Shohei Ohtani. He, of course, was excellent. But how has this series proven just to be more of a test for the bullpen and some of their struggles that they're kind of going through right now against a very talented team?
They clearly, they're lacking confidence. I think that it's kind of, they all want to pitch well. They all want the opportunities, and they're just kind of, they're not making good pitches when they need to, and a little careful at times. And so I think for me, I believe in the talent, but right now they're just kind of, just don't have the confidence that they need to have to be consistent. And so when you're facing a team like this that's, won a division, that's going to grind at bats, you've got to continue to make good pitches. And when you don't, they're going to capitalize.
Dave, given conversation with Shohei by the dugout railing there in the fifth, and how did you make the decision?
Well, he wasn't going to go back out. We've been very steadfast in every situation as far as inning for his usage, from 1 inning to 2 innings to 3 to 4 to 5. We haven't deviated from that. So I was trying to get his pulse for going forward, where he's at, continuing to go to the 6th inning. And he says, feel okay. And so that was good. But I'm not going to have a, plan for 5 innings and then he pitches well and say, hey, now you're going to go 6 innings. And then, he's too important. And if something does happen, then that's on me for changing it. And we haven't done that all year. So I'm not going to do that right now. So, yeah, I would have loved to have him go out there. But if the conversation was, if he's efficient, he can go to the 6th inning, that's a different conversation. But it was a hard 5 innings, and that's just the way it goes. And guys have got to do their jobs.
Just to make sure the conversation was not so much about gathering intel for that start, but for the future.
For the future, yeah. That's what my decision was already going to be done. So I'm trying to get a gauge on him going out there, and he's open to whatever. But if I don't have that conversation, this is a different situation. It's been different this whole year. And so he's 2 players in one. And for me to try to do something and deviate, and if something happens, then we lose 2 players. And so if the conversation isn't had, I'm not going to do it. We haven't done it all year. So I'm not going to do it tonight.
Does a night like this, when you start to look ahead to October, kind of raise, you guys figure out how far you can push them in?
Yeah. I mean, if there's conversations of the powers that be, and Shohei included, if everyone's in the conversation saying, hey, we'll push them, that's a different conversation. But, what I knew going in is that he was going to be 5 innings. So that's where it stops.
How much, right, so today was basically, that's like a health decision, right? It's not so much like a baseball decision.
Well, his thing is going to be a health decision the whole way until we get to next year. It's actually going to be a health decision going forward.
But, say it's October, now you guys have conversations about can he go 6, right? It puts the health maybe a little bit more at risk. There is some risk involved there. How much is his say going to factor into whatever you guys kind of ultimately decide doing there?
It would definitely, certainly has weight. But I think that that's something that is good for all of us to talk about beforehand, and then evaluate stress of innings and, up downs. He did a 3+ 10 days ago. And then now to say that he's just going to go 6 innings, those are things that, and plus the conversation was had. So, as you get to the postseason, and, it's a different conversation for sure.
Obviously, you've been a player, right?
Yeah.
You understand kind of windows, right, about windows and stuff. They can close pretty quickly. If he's kind of adamant about, I want to take the shot now. Again, right, I mean, knowing kind of where the player's kind of mindset is, how, I guess, sympathetic would you be? I would be sympathetic. When you get into when you're in the postseason, I would be more sympathetic. But you also have to understand that the player's always going to feel that they can do it. And this is his first year off Tommy John. We've been very diligent
and how we've managed him. And I think because of that, we're in a very good spot today. And so you can look back at all of his outings and said, could I have pushed him an extra inning without the conversation? Maybe. But, you know, we're in this spot today because I think we've been very diligent.
Blake, I know just another frustrating night for the bullpen. Just with the results and how they're starting to compound amongst the group, what's just kind of the conversation amongst you all as you are looking to kind of right a few of those wrongs as you prepare for October?
As you can see, it's pretty quiet in here, so we haven't had a chance to really talk.
Just what were you seeing wasn't either working for you or that just allowed them to get to you tonight?
I don't know. My brain's kind of scrambled at the moment, to be honest with you. Don't really have a lot to dig into yet. I'll have some time to review it. Sometimes you look back and you try to understand like what's going on, and you try to pinch yourself when things aren't going well. A lot of us have had our moments this year, and sometimes there's no words, no reason to describe it. I know it's frustrating to the fans. I mean, I can promise you from the bottom of our hearts, we're trying our darndest every single night. There's nothing we haven't done. There's no stone we haven't unturned. It's not an effort thing. It's not a preparation thing. It is literally just sometimes things aren't working. And, you know, I wish for their sake, for our team, for our organization, ownership, that, you know, I'm better in my spots. I know that's the heart of my teammates, too. But sometimes you just don't have answers. And you just got to find something to cling to and keep plugging away every day. Reset your mind, reset your body, and try to do the job that you're called to do tomorrow. But yeah, obviously it's been a frustrating stretch.
It is the lack of command, especially after the first couple of bats of that inning. Like one of those things that's just kind of hard to find an answer to when it kind of flips so quick like that.
Well, I mean, you're probably pointing towards Stott. Other than that, I was pretty competitive in the zone. Everything else was put in play. Stott, there was a game plan to more than likely try to pitch around him a bit, not attack him, but like try to make him come out of his comfort zone. You fall behind 3-0 trying to make good pitches. Like I said, it's not from a lack of effort. And, you know, in that situation, you have an open base. So why give a guy who's a good contact guy a chance to, you know, go out there competing? So from, you know, a certain standpoint, you might say that, you know, command is terrible. Is it great? No. But, you know, I'm trying to challenge these guys and try to execute pitches. And Marshawn got to one down and in. Good swing, not a great location, but not terrible. So, yeah, outside of that, I don't really know.
You mentioned that no-hitter up until the 6th inning. This is the reason why Shohei Ohtani was excellent in this game, Ricky.
I thought he was just sharp. I mean, he had a really good fastball that had a lot of jump. He kept the Phillies off balance. He had good movement. His sweeper was actually really good. And I hate the thing called the sweeper, but it was really good. It had really good movement across the plate. There you see a slider that he was throwing. No, I guess that's a sweeper. But, I mean, this guy's nasty.
Nasty curveball.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that a guy that could be that good hitting a baseball and playing in the field all of a sudden could be this good on the mound. I mean, we don't get to see him all that much here on the East Coast, but what he threw out there tonight was, I'll just say it was dominant.
And ho-hum, he hit his 50th homer of the year as well.
Just for giggles.
It's not normal, people. He is that. Mark Dubasol gave him the nickname, the Angels color commentary out there, the unicorn. He is a unicorn.
Yeah.
There's nobody like him anywhere on the planet, nor will there ever be anyone like him anywhere on the planet. This guy is amazing. And he's hitting .282 with 50 homers, 94 RBIs, and he's got a 3.29 ERA. It's not like he's a really good hitter and like a so-so pitcher. He's a mediocre pitcher. This guy is coming back from Tommy John, and he's starting to accumulate more innings. But you don't see stuff like this. That's why I said before the game, it's like, what are we in, Little League? Is this a high school game where the guy pitches 5 innings and then goes play shortstop and hits 3 homers?
It was almost funny.
Unbelievable.
It's almost funny because you and I played in the day where the pitchers hit, but I mean, this is a little different now. I mean, it almost feels weird when you look out there, you see a pitcher with dirt all over the side of his pants because he's been sliding around the bases on top of it. But he's legit. Ben and I both know it's not easy to play at the big league level. One position. Let alone doing both. I mean, that's something special, although he's getting paid well for it.
As he should. Shohei Ohtani won the pitching, but two, being able to do this at the plate, 50th home run of the season.
Yeah, he gets a cutter here from David Robertson and hits it 430 feet.
Where did this land?
I don't know, but this ball didn't go 430 feet.
Look at it. People are all looking outside the stadium. That's a bomb.
It went out of everywhere.
You ever shoot off a bottle rocket? That's what that looked like.
Not lately.
You know,
That ball, there's no way that ball went 430 feet. It didn't even, it went into orbit.
I can't recall.
like I do that like once a week.
You think she does that on the reg, Rick?
I don't
every
know.
Tuesday.
I don't know.
Oh, it's bottle rocket time.
Let's get out there.
Never shut off a bottle rocket, either one of you?
Yes.
Come on.
Like when I was 10.
You guys are hoping to see something, learn something from Ohtani, facing Ohtani for the first time. What were your impressions? What were you hearing?
We thought that he was pretty good, because he is. But just seeing the shapes of his pitches and just seeing it live, I think it should help a little bit.
I mean, it's impossible to tell, but what about better at bats against Ohtani next time if you end up facing him? Do you think you guys learn anything or gain anything from it?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. I can't tell you that for sure, but I hope we learn some stuff and guys get to look at him and see the shape, see the arm slot, see the velocity, get some timing on him because he's really good.
He's really, really good. He has like 6 pitches he can command whenever, however, whatever he wants. And he had his stuff night. So, just tip the cap and just try to get to the bullpen and did what we did. So, he had his stuff. You tip your cap to a guy like that and just try to grind out the rest of the game.
この日、大谷に見逃し三振を喫したシュワーバーは、彼と対戦するのは初めてだったが、今夜は間違いなく非常に状態が良かった。実際に5回を無安打に抑えられた。2打席目も打ち損じた。マウンドで投げる彼を見ていると、完全にゾーンを支配しているように感じた。ストライクを投げ込み、外れてもゾーン付近で、大きく外れるようなミスはほとんどなかった、と語りました。さらに、実際に対戦して、球がどう出てくるのか、異なる球種がどう動くのかを確認できたのは大きな収穫だ。今後また彼と対戦するときには、ある程度はボールの動きや展開を理解できると思う、と前向きに捉え、自信を覗かせました。ご視聴ありがとうございます。明日以降も大谷選手の最新の情報をお届けしてまいりますので、高評価とチャンネル登録をよろしくお願いします。